Hello and welcome to this week's In Conversation. My name is Phil Jackman and I lead on CyberNorth, Dynamo Northeast Cybersecurity Cluster, supported by Accenture and the Innovation Super Network. We're recognised by DCMS and the National Cybersecurity Centre as representing the region, and each week I'm talking to people in the Northeast cybersecurity industry. Today I'm joined by Sharon McDonald, Professor of Human-Computer Interaction at Sunderland University, and Martin Wilson, Head of Cyber and Innovation at the Northeast Business Resilience Centre. Phew. Morning.
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 Sharon, could we please start with tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Sunderland University?
Yeah, thanks for the invite to have a conversation with you, Phil. My role really is I'm Professor of Human-Computer Interaction. I'm a psychologist by training, so my research is really focused on how people engage with technology. And at the moment, I'm looking at how people engage with cybersecurity measures, preventative measures, particularly in the SME sector.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Sharon. And you're welcome, by the way. And Martin, we've spoken with Rebecca from the NEBRC before, so we know a bit about that. But can you tell us a bit about yourself and your role there?
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Phil, and good morning. So I'm a police officer with Durham Police, and the last 6 years or so has been in the cybercrime prevention field. Running up to my work into the Northeast Business Resilience Centre, previous to that I was at the Northeast Regional Special Operations Unit, where really sort of began the work in the Northeast with cybercrime prevention. So I was working with CERT, the Computer Emergency Response Teams, sort of pre-NCSC, where we were sort of setting up the CISP in the Northeast and setting up the partnerships, how I got to know you. And then that sort of natural progression ended up in the Northeast Business Resilience Centre, where I'm at now, and kind of how I know Sharon is through, I've just completed an MSc in cybersecurity, really got on with Sharon, studying one of the modules, which I found fascinating. And that's morphed into a PhD, which we're working together on.
Excellent. Superstar, both of you, but there you go. So for today, we're really interested in some research that you're undertaking in cybersecurity. So Sharon, can you explain what it's about and what you're trying to understand?
Yes, so there's been a lot of research conducted to suggest that SMEs in particular are not engaging with cybersecurity preventative measures and are thereby leaving themselves quite vulnerable to attack. So our research is really trying to explore why is that? What are the psychological drivers that will make an SME owner engage with cybersecurity measures? The hope is by understanding the psychological factors and also the contextual factors around the business, we might be able to develop better awareness training programs and also programs that will support SMEs in making reasonable self-assessments of their risk, and then also give them help and advice as they progress through their cybersecurity journey. So it's really about understanding what do they understand about risk, how do they currently assess their risk, where do they get their information from about cybersecurity? Does the media, for example, have a role in that? And then how can we leverage that understanding to help business owners engage more effectively with cybersecurity?
Excellent. So thanks for that, Sharon. Martin, so why is this research important, and what kind of insights are you hoping to gain?
I think when you look at cyber attacks upon small businesses, Phil, from my experience, that they are nothing special. And when I say that, I mean that they're really sort of well understood attacks, well known attacks. So things that are in the OWASP top 10. You know, some common phishing scams, and I'm certainly not laying the finger of blame at SMEs here, because you have to understand the world from their point of view. You know, they've got 101 things to do, various different disciplines, and you throw cyber in there. And I just feel that they need some more support. And I think that if we do what we've always done from an engagement point of view, we'll get what we've always got. So for me, what I'm hoping to gain from this is, how do we bring about change in SMEs that prevent some of these common cyber attacks, so we get much more resilience? So that's what I'm hoping for.
Excellent, excellent. So I've learned recently that there are more people working in cybersecurity outside of cybersecurity firms than inside them. Most of them are working in SMEs. So What is it, do you think, makes it so hard for us to engage with these SMEs, Sharon?
I think the problem is, as Martin's just said, business owners have so many things to do. They have a number of priorities. Cybersecurity can be expensive as well, so there's always something else to spend money on. But I think one of the key problems is cybersecurity isn't necessarily tangible. So you invest in it and you don't immediately see a return. You may not be hacked, but there's not always the awareness there that actually it's what you've spent your hard-earned cash on that's giving you the support. So it's a very difficult concept. It's a little bit like insurance, because you've got to pay for something and you don't immediately see something back. For some businesses, there will be positive drivers in this. For example, businesses who want to interact with the NHS, there will definitely be positives there because they will require a level of cybersecurity training to be existent within the business. But for other businesses, such as sole traders, it can just be seen as a less of a priority. You've then got things like the language of cybersecurity. It's pretty impenetrable for your average person. It's full of acronyms and jargon. And it's difficult for people to have empowered conversations with providers to understand, that they're not being sold. As one of our respondents in our survey said, the next version of snake oil. It's about being able to understand the advice that you're given, take from that what you need at that given point of time, and move forward. So I think it's a difficult thing to sell, and it's a difficult thing to engage with because it's not tangible.
Yeah, I think your analogy of insurance is very valid. But Martin, how you plan to conduct this research, and what is it you like from the SMEs to do in the region?
For us, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario, where we want to improve cybersecurity engagement with SMEs, but we'll need some engagement in the first place. Obviously, for something to be understood, certainly from an academic point of view and an evidence basis, we'd like to trial some interventions with SMEs. We'd like to work with them. We'd like them to participate in our surveys, focus groups, interviews, that sort of stuff. Not taking up loads of the time, because we know time's precious, but I guess we'll only know what works by trialing and evaluating things. So I guess what I would like, and what my call is if there are any businesses, really any SMEs in the area, any sectors, to get in touch with us, and we'll do some valuable work to try and understand what works.
Okay, that's like a bit of a catch-22. So Sharon, what are you going to do with this information? How are you going to share it or collate it?
Well, initially, in the short term, we're going to publish some academic papers that will be disseminated to the academic community, but also we'd like to run some public engagement events and also disseminate our findings to the business community. But really what we want to do with this is to produce something that can really help the business community engage with cyber. So I have in my mind that we're going to develop a personalised system that will provide information to business owners. Whether or not that pans out is another thing, but I think it's longer term. It is really about giving people something that will help them.
Excellent. So Martin, how can people get in touch, and if they're interested in getting involved?
Yeah, so you can visit our webpage, which is NEBRC centre.co.uk. You'll find our inquiries email address in there, but basically just drop us an email at inquiries@nebrcentre.co.uk, and we'll be happy to discuss. Rest assured, any involvement's completely voluntary, it's completely anonymised. We treat the information confidentially and securely. So yeah, please get in touch.
Excellent, thanks very much. So my last question then for both of you, these next few months are going to be a bit of a challenge. The whole last year has been a bit of a challenge. What are your hopes in terms of the future? Sharon first.
Well, we've just started an interdisciplinary network around cybersecurity at the university, and I've got hopes for that to develop further. I've got two stunning, outstanding PhD students, one being Martin and the other being Dominic Button. I'd really like to grow that group and work with colleagues from criminology, sociology, media, to really take a different perspective on cybersecurity and cybercrime. Personally, I would like to go to the hairdressers.
Tell me
I
about
want more than anything.
it. Well, that's great, but I could do with getting rid of my COVID hair as well, man. As it happens, Dominic's coming on to do one of these in conversations in a little while. So, Martin,
Professionally, I'd like to see the NEBRC grow and go from strength to strength. I'd like to get as much of this research done as we possibly can. Sometimes PhD can take a number of years to do, which I'm prepared to commit to. But wouldn't it be nice to start getting some of this data in now and start actually implementing some of the findings soon? So yeah, I'd like that to happen. And then personally, you know what, wouldn't it be nice just to go out and have a cup of coffee again? And Sharon and I have said, some of this data that we've got, we were just sort of bemoaning the fact that we can only do so much of it virtually. And I think we're both northeastern Terry clamming for a cup of coffee, looking at some of this data, maybe in a nice garden centre somewhere, something. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So yeah.
well, I'm with you there, and I'll join you for a cup of coffee when we're all out. But good luck with everything that you're trying to do. So thank you for that, Sharon and Martin. I'd also like to thank Robert Campbell, who's helped me set these in conversations up. He does all the work in the background. Look out for the next in our series, and if you're interested in taking part, please get in touch. Thank you very much.
That was In Conversation with Phil Jackman, lead for CyberNorth. Audio and video production was by me, Robert Campbell. This was a Team Funds production for Dynamo Northeast.